Welcome back to the Slipper Still Fits. I'm Arden Carvalho. Today, we're joined by the former leader of the Gonzaga basketball program and current Eastern Washington head coach, Dan Monson. Nice to meet you, Dan, and appreciate you coming on.
Great to be here. Thanks. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
of course, of course. I really wanted to get into about that trip that you just recently took to Springfield, Massachusetts for Mark Few's Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame induction. How was that? And when that speech was going on, what kind of memories were running through your head?
It was pretty surreal, to be honest with you. I mean, you're just kind of, you hear about Springfield, Massachusetts. You hear about it being um, the Hall of Fame, and it's a big deal. But when you get back there, it was just like way
Hmm.
more than you thought, way bigger deal than you thought, way more like how is this happening? Kind of kind of feeling. And then Mark, this his whole journey has included his friends and family into these things. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll never forget. The night before or the day after Gonzaga won to go to their first Final Four.
Yeah,
He called me that next Sunday morning. He said, "Now you're going, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I go to Final Four every year. I
of
mean, that's what
course.
coaches do." Yeah, and he said, "No, you're going with us." And I'm like,
Wow.
"What do you mean?" He said, "No, we're gonna have." All the former players, coaches, and everything with us on the
Wow.
buses and everything. And I'm like, oh, whatever you want, Mark, I'll do, whatever. I mean, we're going to the Final Four. And then he said, and your family too. And I'm like, hey, my kids weren't even born when I was at Gonzaga. I wasn't even married at the time. And he said, uh, he said, well, they were born into this family and they're going to come with us. And
Absolutely.
he's just always included everybody. And so when you got back there this, last week, it was the same way. It was just, he had they had everything lined up. Gonzaga after party on Friday night at Gonzaga. Parties, are part of being a Zag, and they
Yeah.
had the parties going on Friday night and Saturday night. I think I went to bed at 3:30 on Friday night and 4:30 on Saturday. So and Marcy's mom and Marcy were still up at 4:30 when I went to bed. So
Wow.
it was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, once a Zag, always a Zag, and that's the case from that story. Thanks for sharing that. Let's talk about that 1999 Elite Eight run, when you were in charge and Few was by your side as an assistant. I talked to Mike Nielsen about it, but what made that team, but also from your point of view, you two coaches as colleagues work so well together that March?
Well, I tell people all the time the biggest regret I have in my career is the 99 year happened so early.
Mm,
I'd only been a head coach for 1 year, and I'm like,
yeah,
well, this is easy. This is how it's, and I've spent 25, Gonzaga spent 25 years doing it over and over again. I've spent 25 years trying to get back there. And so it's been, you look back and it was very, just like this last week, it's been very surreal. I mean, it's just like, you just, and the whole Gonzaga run has been, I mean, hard to really wrap your head around or really understand how special it really is. And I think, for me being in a profession, I'm able to
mhm.
understand that, but I think most Gonzaga boosters, Gonzaga alumni, they don't understand that this is not normal.
Yeah.
And what what we did that year was unbelievable, but what they've done to sustain it since then is uncomprehendable. Which is a big difference. And uh, you're just in a bubble. And Fuey mentioned that to me about this last weekend. He goes, it was just so great because we're kind of in a bubble,
Hmm.
with all my friends and family. And that's how it was in '99. It was just a great group of guys that had a chip on their shoulder, that understood that they were had an opportunity to play against these teams and confidence, and just very unique environment that came all together at one time to say, "Hey, we're going to win, and we're Gonzaga, and you're going to learn how to say it, and you're going to learn
Yes.
where it's at, and you're going to learn, a lot about us along the way." And now it's, you say Gonzaga, they'll say basketball.
Yeah. Goes one and one with each
Yeah.
other. You've had a wonderful, long stretching basketball career even outside of Gonzaga with Minnesota, Long Beach State, and now Eastern Washington. But I really want to know, and it's probably a touchy subject. Do you ever look back at that Gonzaga year after the March Madness run and wonder what if you never took that Minnesota job with the Golden Gophers?
I think I'd be lying if I wouldn't, if I'd say I never thought of that or
Okay.
never would fantasize about that, but not very much. I think people think
Okay.
that, because I also feel that it was the right decision at the right time. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody in their life can look back at something with a crystal ball and say, okay, I should have done this. Or I don't really, I think there were certain things about it that I actually take credit for where Gonzaga is because I did leave. I
Yeah.
just don't think
Hmm.
Gonzaga would be where it is if I would have stayed. I mean, there was no motive to build the arena. There was no motive to, increase salaries or keep assistants at that
Hmm.
time. There was no motive to sell more tickets or whatever
Hmm.
it was. And when I left, they're like, okay, this is going pretty good. We might want to think about, putting some resources in here to keep it. And
Yeah.
so I feel like, what I did was something that helped uh, kind of opened some doors for Gonzaga basketball and go and personally, I think if I was getting married on August 7th of that year,
Yeah.
and I I don't share this very often, but I don't know that we'd still be married.
Oh, jeez.
We just, I mean, she had her friends, I had my
Yeah.
friends. I was 37 and single, and
Yeah.
we're getting married. And we went back to Minnesota, and we had to rely on each other. We
Yeah.
had 4 kids in 5 years, and it was cold back there in Minnesota,
I'm sure
So,
he's up.
but it was a situation where I think it was really good for our marriage
Yeah,
and us personally to go have to deal with problems and everyday life together without, the comfort of, Spokane and
mhm,
what the only thing that Darcy and I both knew. So, yeah, I think about it, but I don't, it's not something if I had to do it again, I know I made the right decision. I made as much money in 2 years at Minnesota as at that time I was going to make in 15 years
yeah,
at Gonzaga. And of course, that's not the case now.
of course, of course. But it sounds like it worked out for your personal life. But and like I said earlier, you had a successful career even after that. Something that you were, I'm sure, very happy about. So a good decision, regardless. But let's talk about Eastern Washington now. You're entering your third season there, looking to make it back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2021. Just how's everything going over in nearby Cheney with the Eagles? What has you kind of eager to get back on the court with this upcoming team that you have in a real game situation?
Well, it's kind of interesting because basketball is college basketball is at a different road right now,
Yeah,
a different.
absolutely.
It's just at a different space in sports, and yet if there is a normalcy to it, it would be at a place like Eastern where
Mhm.
we just don't have the resources to change, so we kind of get to stay in the same playing spaces we were 5-10 years ago. I mean, certainly we have NIL, but not to the extent that
Of course.
Gonzaga or some of these other places have. And uh, uh, to me, it's just and I love how Mark ended uh, his speech at the
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Just talking about his faith and down the road. And I think that's kind of it for me too. It's like God just sent me around on a 25 year, circle of life.
Yeah,
And now I'm back where I started with,
crazy.
with when we arrived back here in Spokane. My parents were both here. Darcy's parents were both here. Now, uh, 2 years later, we both lost our dads,
Hmm.
and we were able to be here for them their last few days and be by their side, which, it wouldn't have happened if we weren't here. And now I have both moms that are widowers that we're able to see every day and kind of help them through that. So being back has been great. I mean, I see people on the street, they're like, remember me? I'm like, nope. It's like
Yeah.
25 years, you got to give me a break, but I love that. I love that having those relationships that I had 25 years ago, kind of rekindling them and seeing people that I hadn't seen in a long time. And originally we're like, well, we're California people now.
Yeah.
We've been here 17 years, and we'll rent out our house and then come back here after Eastern. And we were here like a year, and we're like, no, this is home. This is where we
Hmm.
belong. This is where our family and friends are.
Yeah.
We sold our house there, and I'm like, we can VRBO down there for a month here or there, but it's great to be back. I guess is a long answer to your question.
I appreciate it. And you actually brought up a couple of two things that I wanted to get into in my last couple questions. First of all, you mentioned the confusion of college basketball. I wanted to take a chance at a long time talking to a long time Division One basketball coach that's well respected. Just and you've seen it change the game through the NCAA a lot over the last 40 years of coaching. Just what are your quick thoughts about all the lawsuits, going across the NCAA, across the country, and just with fifth year players and the age-based eligibility model. I know it's not really affecting you guys as much, but just your overall thoughts.
Uh,
I
it's
know it's
ridiculous.
a touchy subject for
Yeah,
sure.
it's ridiculous. I
It's
mean,
ridiculous. Thank you.
it's just
Absolutely.
over the. It's just not. It's sad that
Mhm.
you say if it isn't broke, don't fix it,
Yes.
and it wasn't broke, and now and we tried to fix something that wasn't broke, and now it's broke, and we can't fix it, and so it's ridiculous, sad, whatever you want to say, but.
Hmm.
Yet I hate to say that because I've been 40 years or 30 years as a Division One head coach, 40
Yeah.
years in college basketball,
Correct.
and had an unbelievable occupation slash career slash memory slash times, and I just hate to see where it is right now, but yet it's kind of the NCAA has done so much for me and my family, and so I hate to like knock, an association that's been so good, but or these universities, but it's not working right now.
Mhm.
They and I know everybody uses this analogy, but the toothpaste is out of the out of the
Out of the
bottle,
tube.
and the tube, yeah, and we can't get it back in, and I just don't know where it's going to go from here. But I tell people it's it's going to be somebody else's problem. I mean, I
True. Yeah.
think, yeah,
It's a young
I
man's
feel
game
for,
now.
yeah, and I feel for that. I got a son that coaches for me here. Mark's got a son that
Hmm.
is coaching at
Same with Leon
Boise
Rice. Yeah.
State
Hmm.
and at Arizona State, and that idolized what we did and wanted to go into the profession that we went in, but it's not the same. It's not the same profession, and I'm sure that at some point they'll figure out uh, a, a way to make it better. But I don't. I just find it hard to believe they're ever going to get it back to
Yeah.
where it was when Mark and I were able to get into the profession, and that's really sad because it was such a great profession to be in
Yeah.
when we got into it.
Yeah, it truly is. It's just a waste of time and resources and money right now, and it's just frustrating to deal with as a fan. I'm glad you kind of feel the same way. Thanks again for joining me. One last question for you, because before I started talking to you, I actually got in touch with my grandpa, Bob Ackley. He played college basketball at Sac State, but he also played high school basketball in Kennewick in Washington. And your father, the great late Don Monson, coached at Cheney and Pasco High School in Washington before his 10 years with Idaho and Oregon, successful 10 years over there. But my grandpa said he saw your dad coach against Kennewick and you were his ball boy.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that time, and how much did your father influence your college basketball style or coaching style today?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're bringing back I mean, you can see me smiling. It's
Yeah,
and getting
that's what I wanted
emotional
out of you.
and getting emotional because that's why I got into it. I mean, my dad, I always say that Dan Fitzgerald taught me how to coach,
Yeah.
but my dad taught me what it is to be a coach. And there's a big
Mhm.
difference,
Yeah.
and the Pasco Kennewick Richland rivalries
Mhm.
that I just remember a dad coaching at Pasco and that he was really in the 60s a big movement in the Tri-Cities of
Mhm.
racial equality and because of the black athletes in Pasco and love those games. I mean, I sat on the bench, like my kids did, it was just great memories of why I got into coaching, and you talk about where college basketball is now and how messed up it is, but looking back at what I got to experience
Mhm.
and my dad, and what he taught me about being a coach and being a dad and being able to juggle those two things, which is extremely difficult. Was my dad never wanted me to get into coaching. He just said, "Hey, there's just so many tough parts about it." But when I finally told him that that's what I wanted to do, I wasn't just doing it because he was. There was nobody more supportive than him. So with my two boys, I'm like, go for it. It's different. I was like, hey, it's been an unbelievable run for me and my family and everything. And so I'm like, I hope my boys can find that same type of life and lifestyle that I was able to. So, but you bring up the Tri Cities, Pasco, Kennewick, Richland. Yeah, and and you mentioned that he started it. I'm sorry, I dropped my phone
No,
there.
that's all right.
I,
Yeah.
you mentioned that he started at Cheney High School. I was born
Uh-huh.
when my dad was a high school head basketball coach at Cheney High School,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm coaching at Eastern Washington and Cheney. I mean,
Yeah.
the full circle of
That's
life.
crazy.
There, you can't tell me there's not a God up there. It's just
Yeah.
saying, okay, this is you can start here. You're going to come back here. It's really been a cool situation, and I know your grandfather probably feels the same way.
Oh yeah, someone's looking out for you, the Munson family, and my grandpa's really gonna appreciate hearing that. I thank you again for sharing that, and best of luck with Eastern Washington. I love watching Eagles basketball when I get a chance to, and I hope you guys make a deep run in the Big Sky.
Well, as Fewy said last year, we went undefeated in the month of February, and he
Yeah.
said the Eagles stole everybody's heart in February, and
Yeah.
they broke everybody's heart in March. So hopefully we can do a little better this year.
I hope
So
so.
he's
I
my
hope
he's
so
my
too.
toughest critic.
It's a good critic to have.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, and have a good one. All right.
All right. Great talking to you.